she said, I've always wanted to honor that in some way, but I never really knew how until now. And I wanted to see if you would, change the words with me.
Brooke, welcome to Smooth Country. How are you?
So good. It is the most beautiful day in London.
Yes, it doesn't happen every day.
No, I've been here probably 8 or 9 times. I have never seen a day as delicious as today.
Well, this day next week, I'm told it's going to be about 32, 33, which is a big deal for us. Maybe not for you, but this is a big deal for us when we get those sort of temperatures.
That's high.
Yeah, that's about near 90s. So, yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that is going to be high for y'all over here.
It is. Yeah, we're all going to have to put our factor 50 on just for that.
A factor 50.
But anyway, it's a good time to visit the UK in the summer. So I'm delighted you're here. You're here for Long Road.
Yes, Long Road Fest. I'm so excited. It's funny is last year I did a little stint in Germany. I did some shows with Breland and Averiana and a couple American country artists, and they had just come from the Long Road Fest. And I was like, oh, I want to play that next year. And here we are, baby.
There you put it out there and it's come back for you, hasn't it?
It has.
So that's good.
Universe. Yeah.
Hey, I've got to say as well, your song Party Wherever We Go
has
just been chosen, hasn't it, for a sports show. Now, I'm not familiar with this show, so maybe you could explain to us what it is.
Well, it's American football.
Yeah.
It's college football. So it's huge in the South specifically because, it's almost like a part of the Southern culture in America, like college football. So whatever college you go to has, a football team that's associated with it, and it is mayhem. And I recorded a song for that portion of college football, and it's called Party Wherever We Go. And it debuts August 30th, I believe. And yeah, I'm so excited about it.
Absolutely, because I know you're in good company there. The likes of Lainey previously and Luke Combs, and I think Darius also had songs doing exactly what yours is going to do in previous years. So yeah, well, good luck with that.
Thank you so much.
Are you a big sports fan yourself?
I am. So excitingly, I went to University of Florida. That was my university that I went to, and we have the first game in the South for college football. So next Saturday, I will actually be in my college town, like where I went to university, and getting to sing the song and see it play in the stadium, and it's going to be super, super fun. So big football fan, big sports fan. My wife, I thought I was a football fan. And then I met my wife, and we watched the Super Bowl together for the first time, and she was calling the calls like before the refs were, and I was like, oh, I just like to tailgate. So now I know everything there is to know about American football, and yes, big fan.
Can I? And I know your wife is here, Hilary. So hello, Hilary, just off camera. But do you support the same team? So is there a bit of rivalry going on?
No. Okay. So I went to a Southern school, and she went to a Midwestern school. So our schools are in different conferences. We hardly ever play each other.
Yeah.
So it's very fun for her to have a Southern school and for me to have a Midwestern school. So no rivalries, but we always said that if we played each other, our schools have only played each other in any sport one time in 8.5 years. And it just so happened to be like the weekend after we met each other, and a really good excuse to text each other. So yeah, the universe was doing something for us that day.
It really was. Oh, well, good luck if they ever meet again, because, I'd like the marriage to stay in a happy zone.
Yes. We always said that she would wear my colors and I would wear her colors.
That's a nice thing.
Yeah,
that wouldn't happen here. If
no.
there was two premier teams playing each other, people wouldn't swap jerseys. So yeah. But that's a really full circle moment you were explaining about going back to your hometown and, very soon. So that'll be a big deal for you and the fans too.
Oh my gosh. It's just going to be such a cool experience. Football happens in the fall in the States, and usually I'm touring a lot in the fall, so I have not been able to get back to my university game for like 9 years. So this will be the first time that I get to bring my wife, and also the first time I've been back in a long time. So I'm so excited.
Oh, great. Well, listen, and that's all to come. But first of all, it's your gig here. And that's the
Yes,
whole. So there's a lot going on in your life at the moment, really, isn't there?
there is. Yeah.
And am I allowed to say, I mean, you got
You
married a
are.
couple of years ago,
Yeah.
but am I allowed to say your first baby is on the way really soon?
Yeah, yeah, we're having a little baby boy
Ooh.
in November. So just around the corner. Yeah, my wife is pregnant. Luckily, I have always wanted to be a mom, but I have never like the thought of carrying a baby never really, I don't know, it wasn't something that I wanted. And so I always thought I would adopt or something, and then thinking I would be in like a heterosexual relationship. And then I met my wife, and it was just like we started talking about kids almost immediately when we met. And she's like, "Oh, I've always wanted to carry." And I was like, "Well, this really works out for both of us." So it's been such a beautiful journey. We both went through egg retrieval last year. And so, yeah, it's just been such a cool experience, and watching her body grow and change. And she's just been such a superhero about it.
Do you know, every time you mention Hillary, it's like whether it's, football teams and you swap shirts or these things are just meant to happen. I mean, the way you just explained that. So it's all like slotting in, isn't it? Well, the
Yeah.
best of luck to both of you, by the way, because that's a big deal.
Oh, thank you.
And speaking as, a parent myself, and now mine are, 20 odd. So I've been through all that. But, these are the most important things in your life, really, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, these are just, big stepping stones, and lifelong dreams to become a parent. And we are in our friend group called the Baby Snatchers, because a lot of our friends already have kids, and we're the first to be like, "Hey, do you need, you want to go have some parent time?" And we'll take the kids, like we're, those aunties in the room. So
Brilliant.
we're excited to go from aunties to mamas.
So, yeah, you've had loads of experience already, and now it's your turn.
It's our turn.
So,
That's
well,
right.
the best of luck to both of you. with that.
Thank you.
I heard a little while ago as well, I got to get this around my head. Garth
Yeah.
Brooks
Uh-huh.
serenaded both of you down the aisle when you were getting married.
That's right.
That doesn't happen every day to everyone, does
No,
it? How did that
no.
come about?
Yeah. So my wife, Hill, worked with Garth and Trisha for like 6 years. And during that time, in the beginning, when we first met them, I never even said anything about like me being a singer. I was just supporting her and there and, at events and stuff. And a few years into that, Garth asked me to open up for him a big show in Oregon. There were like 75,000 people there. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was kind of just wild. I didn't even know that he knew that I was a singer. So for him to ask me to open was just the coolest thing. And then in June of 2021, right after I came out and Hill and I just had gotten engaged, Trisha called me and she was like, "Hey, I want to, my song She's in Love with the Boy." And I said, "Yes." And she was like, "I've always, ever since that song came out, I've had people come up to me and say, 'Hey, I know that, you sing She's in Love with the Boy, but I sing She's in Love with the Girl, or I sing He's in Love with the Boy.'" And she said, "I've always wanted to honor that in some way, but I never really knew how until now. And I wanted to see if you would, change the words with me to She's in Love with the Girl to celebrate your engagement." It was also Pride Month in the States. And she said, "Let's do it at the Grand Ole Opry," which is, a huge just stage for country music in general. And I was so nervous about it just because, it's changing the words to a same-sex relationship, on the Grand Ole Opry stage. I just didn't know what would happen, but it was such a moment. And from there, Garth and Trisha and the two of us got close. And just for them to just take such a stance for, love is love and just equality and inclusivity. And so we started getting close. And when we got done with that performance at the Grand Ole Opry, Trisha was like, "Okay, I know there's a wedding happening. Like, am I going to be a bridesmaid? Am I going to be a flower girl? Am I officiating? And we're like, wait, would you officiate? And she was like, I would be so honored to officiate your wedding. So yeah, that's how that happened. And then we were hanging out with Trisha one day. We were just hanging out in the kitchen, and Garth walked in the house, and we were like, so are you coming? Are you coming to this wedding, And he was like, oh, yeah, I'll be there. And we're like, well, if you're going to be there, would you want to sing us down the aisle? And he said, I'm very expensive. And we said, yeah, we've heard. And he said, but I'll do it for chocolate chip cookies. So we paid him in chocolate chip cookies, and he sang us down the aisle to Make You Feel My Love. And
well,
Trisha
that's quite a
officiated.
song, isn't it, as well?
It is. Yes, it really is. And of course, as someone who has grown up on country music and grown up, just idolizing Trisha Yearwood, truly, I still tap my hip with my hand while I'm singing, because that's what Trisha has always done. And then, Garth being Garth. To have them just be such great allies and such great friends and incredible people. People say don't meet your idols, and that's just not the case with them, luckily.
Well, funnily enough, because we get a lot of people coming through the studios here when they're in the UK, and I can guarantee as well to the listeners and the viewers, and sometimes you find the bigger the star, the nicer they are. But genuinely, that's true, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, that is so true. I think Dolly Parton is like one of the nicest people I've ever met in my whole entire life.
Yeah.
And she might just be the biggest, you know.
Well, funnily enough, we were saying that as well. When we spent an afternoon with her, she didn't come to us, by the way. We went to her hotel, but that's a different level. And we listened, we bent down to that, and it was a wonderful afternoon. So I know exactly what you mean there. Do you mind me just touching on, you mentioned, you were changing the words of that iconic song for a particular reason.
Yeah.
You were doing it almost, in the cathedral of country. So, and some people might suggest that country music has changed a lot, but it's still can be quite a conservative thing. Did you get any fight back, or did you get any resistance, or did people just embrace it? How was it for you from that point of view?
Yeah. From on stage, all I could really hear was just, people were excited. People were standing up. Of course, Trisha's on stage with me. So, if you don't hail the queen, really, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So, yes, I mean, I think it was super well received.
Yeah.
And just in general, I think it's been pretty well received. I was told in the beginning of my career, if I ever came out, in my relationship, then I would lose my career. And it was very poignant. It was very like, if you do this, this will happen. And so we stayed in the closet for 5 years, which was so difficult, especially, for me, I had never really had a great love. I had never been in love with anyone. And then I, meet this incredible human, and I want to shout it from the rooftops, and I'm actually have to be silenced about it.
Yeah.
And that was so hard. And then at some point you just realize that, who are you doing this for? Who are you staying silent for? Because at that point you're just going with the oppressor. And so, in 2020, I realized I just can't do this anymore. And I had to come out. I had a bunch of health issues. Your mental health becomes your physical health. And I quickly realized that I couldn't continue to live this kind of double life, this life where, I'm supposed to be this one person when I'm a country artist, and I'm this completely different person at home with my friends and family and, and partner. And so I just thought there has to be other people like me out there. There has to be other people who were born and raised on country music and, maybe grew up in a small town or with conservative or religious views from their family, and they're being, silenced. And why? For what? And so, I just felt it was important for me to, live out loud and not continue to be silent about it.
Dead right.
Yeah.
And just one other thing that just jumped into my head. Have you had other people approach you or send you messages or something saying, that's me, I'm you, and I didn't or wouldn't come out, but now, have you had a lot of that?
Every single day. Yeah.
That must be an amazing feeling then for you.
It's so amazing, like, what community can do and what the truth can do. And yeah, just like even my family, I'm from a conservative, very like religious family in the South. And they were not accepting at first. And now they are literally like, Hillary and I are the bar for what a relationship should
Wow.
be. And they have completely changed their views because they've seen what love, can look like. And then it's just been so incredible to hear people's stories and messages and coming up at meet and greets and just I told my parents that I was dating this girl like with your music video or from your song or I think that it's important for parents to see someone who's living their life successfully in a same sex relationship and know it's all going to be okay,
Yeah.
especially in country music.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's been so incredible to just watch, like, when one person tells the truth, it allows other people to also maybe live their lives authentically.
Almost opens the tap a little, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you live your life and you think you're the only one, or you think, no one else like me. And then suddenly you come along and you go, here we go. And that
Oh,
just, yeah.
yeah, I fully thought I was, like, the only, queer person to ever grow up in a southern state, who loves Jesus, you know what I mean? Like, I very much thought I was the only one, and then you quickly realize that you are in with a very large group of people who have also probably been silenced for a long time
Sure.
or felt, like they couldn't speak their truth.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, this has been a real eye opener, and I know there'll be people watching this and listening to it, and they will be able to connect too. So it's great having you here. I got to ask you though, music. What's next for you? What have you got? Anything in the pipeline?
Oh, yeah.
What's go right? So
Yeah, so I'm working really hard on a new project right now. Kind of some puzzle pieces that are kind of coming together from my last couple of projects and kind of building this work, this body of work. But yeah, it's a whole new chapter and it's been very fun. So I hope to have one of those songs out by the end of the year. So fingers crossed.
yeah.
As we're coming like almost, I guess we're in the third quarter now. So fingers crossed that we can get it out by the end of this year. But the song is ready, and it's a duet with one of my friends. And I haven't even played it for my management. Only my A&R has heard it so far. So very, very excited to finally play it for people.
Well, great. Let's get it on now then, shall we? Your A&R's over in the corner. That'll be wonderful. An exclusive. Well, I'm really keen-eared to hear that when you're ready.
Yes,
and will
thank
that be
you.
part of something else then?
Yes.
That song, right?
Yeah, it'll be part of a new project,
Great.
Hopefully in the spring of next year.
Well, I want to wish you the best. I mean, there's so many different things to wish you the best of luck with.
Oh, thank you.
But good luck with the project. Of course, good luck with the baby as well.
Thank you, thank you.
And he'll be here before you know it, of
I
course.
know. It's so wild.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you here.
Thank you for
and
having me.
yeah, and maybe when you're floating around next time, come back and maybe little fella be with you.
Oh,
So
I know. We'll float on over with baby in tow.
brilliant. Perfect. Listen, a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.